always been using.
Hmm.
But if you think we need to get a new one, I mean,
Yeah,
we
I
need a
will
new
send
one.
you one. See if that works any better. But yeah, I mean, obviously, don't care right now. Oh man.
But yes, my laptop has a very, very poor camera, and my wife's using my desktop for work for the rest of the week until I get her laptop put back together.
All right, let's see.
When my cable was out, my internet was out.
Yeah.
My wife's laptop won't connect to the Nexus 4's wireless access point, and I couldn't figure out a way to make the Nexus 4 forward to the regular router. But yeah, we ran that for 5 days nonstop for internet. I'll bet I used 30, 40, 50 gigs of data on T-Mobile. I hope they're not too mad, but I had to do something. Well, they said they're the ones that said unlimited, and they're the ones that gave me tethering. So
Oh man. Yeah. So I'm trying to. Actually, I need to share this. Hang on. Dun, 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 dun. First, I need to share that. Doo, 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 doo. All right, so I want to talk some more about this HTC stuff that's happening right now because I mean, even in the 18 hours since we podcasted last night, it's getting a little ridiculous. There's that video of Peter Chow at it was like a giant team party meeting, I guess, in Taiwan, and I saw somebody say it was a press event. As far as I know, it wasn't a press event, just because there were a lot of people in a room and
yeah,
people on stage doesn't mean it's a press event.
I thought it was like a party or something. HTC internal staff only.
In fact, it said like end of year party. So he's chanting M7, M7, M7,
Bizarre.
HTC One. I don't think any of that was a surprise, right? Like, or not a surprise, but unplanned.
Right. Well, you don't stand up on stage when you know cameras are on and scream about a code name.
Code name.
Right.
So that leads me to my next question. Is it a code name or is it the actual name? Because I keep going back and forth on this.
The M7 would be a cool name, wouldn't it?
I guess, but how does that fit into HTC One?
Maybe they realized that didn't work out for them as well as they had liked.
Man, to kill that, it's hard as they push that brand to kill it after a year. I just don't see that.
Maybe they're going to continue the one line and we don't have any information about those yet. There's no saying they can't make two lines, I guess is the word I'm looking for, that are both premium.
I guess. I mean, and who knows? The whole thing's just getting weird. I mean, they've got to be doing all this on purpose, right? It's just,
sure.
And we said it last night, right? It's not beyond companies to leak their own stuff, but especially when I start thinking that HTC has this new marketing guy, right?
Right, and Peter Chow knew that there were cameras on, and every time there's cameras on, it's going to end up on the internet.
Yeah, I mean, you can't say anything in public like that without somebody recording it.
This was no accident. But I just know, what? Whatever the plan is, I'm excited to see. Peter Chow was excited, wasn't he? That wasn't forced. He likes what he has in his hands, and he's dancing. It'd be like seeing, Hugo or Vic at Google I/O with the new tablet jumping up and down and carrying on. If he's that excited, I want to see it.
Right. Oh, man. God. All right, so if it's a real name, and again, it makes more sense that it'd be a real name because you wouldn't be purposefully leaking a code name like that, right?
Normally you wouldn't, but like you said, they've got a new marketing director. They know they've got to do something. The the world is just getting handed to Samsung on a platter, and HTC has to do something. Maybe. I don't know.
I'm trying to think through it. I mean, it makes more sense that that would be the actual name rather than just a code name. But at the same time, if you're at like an internal thing, and let's play devil's advocate here and say, you didn't think somebody was recording it, M7's the name of the project or whatever, or phone, that's the code name, and that's what you've been using internally all that time, then it makes sense. It's that is what you would yell. Right?
Yeah. It's, in any case, maybe it's the real name, maybe it's the code name. The fact still remains that this was pushed into our face for us to see it, and for people like us to put it on the internet so everybody else can see it, and that couldn't have been an accident. Maybe they have a specific reason they want to use the word M7 when they talk about this phone, and we don't know it yet. Or, hell, like you said, maybe it is the real name. But I think the really important thing to remember is that HTC wants us to see what we can't officially see yet. They want everybody to be talking about it.
Oh, man. If I had to pick, like today, I'm still leaning toward codename.
Yeah.
Just because old school, you have code names.
Mm-hmm.
You have code names for code names.
Yep. Sometimes code names are better than the names they give them. I know.
Well, I mean, think back to the Asus CES presser when dude blurted out Project Thor.
Yeah.
and Jensen knows what he's doing, but
sure.
Oh, I don't know.
Well,
anything else about that? I mean, what do you think about? There's more rumors about more phones coming out, but I mean, yeah, smartphone manufacturer to release more smartphones in 2013.
Yep, and you know what? Good. They should try to build a phone to fit every niche. But what's most important is, the other rumor that the M7's going everywhere, supposedly confirmed with air quotes, except Verizon with LTE. Those phones all have to have the same body, the same name, so somebody can make car docks and cases and everything that is interchangeable like they did with the Galaxy S3.
Oh, we didn't. Yeah, I mean, it's still easier said than done. I guess we didn't talk about the Mophie case yesterday, did we?
No.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still not totally done with that little experiment, but I mean, it's pretty obvious. Like, you're not going to have the same sort of returns on even a Galaxy S3, accessory as you will an iPhone accessory, and that's It's kind of painfully obvious. I'm still waiting to get so I bought two off Amazon, and they were exactly the same, different retailers actually, different resellers, and then Mophie, PR didn't like my review and said, well, you might have gotten a counterfeit, and actually they were pretty strong about you probably got a counterfeit. And actually, apparently, they have big problems with that. There are sections on.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, I've never seen that before. So what I actually did, they're sending me another one. I'm still waiting to get it, but I actually overnighted. I bought one directly from Mophie. Because not that I don't trust PR people to just pull something and send it to us, but I want to make sure, right? So I bought another one directly from Mophie and actually got it cheaper than I paid for at Amazon. Because I found a coupon code online, and even with overnight shipping, it was still cheaper. And it was exactly like the ones I got off Amazon. By the way, still had the same. Is it sitting here? No, it's not. Still had the same sharp edge on it.
Right.
So I'm curious to see if what they send me is any different. I'm not expecting it to be.
Well, I mean, the things that you had to say about the case, I don't think really matter. I understand they don't want you reviewing a counterfeit case with their name on it. Got that completely. But what you had to say about it is going to apply no matter who makes it.
I think so.
So
I mean, the purpose of it, yeah.
Right.
They were worried about the quality of it and how I was disappointed in that, and I was, and I still am. It's just not as good as the iPhone case. Period.
That needs said.
Yeah.
And if they really have a problem with that, they'll make it as good quality as the iPhone case.
Hope
That's
so.
what I think.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to talk about that for a minute. Maybe we'll slap this up underneath the podcast.
Sure.
Just because.
You should hold that 8X up and scream M7 a bunch of times.
M7. I mean, I need to find like see if HTC has one, just like a good diagram explaining how all that goes together now with the PCB and the battery. I'm trying to remember if they showed us anything like that.
I think all of you have seen that. I mean,
I'm not even sure if I saw it. And I'm trying to remember when they had iSupply in to talk to us that last time. I think I saw it was an 8S or an 8X, or not 8, but a 1X or 1S that they'd taken apart. So that's still not the same.
Right.
I don't remember. Brian Klug probably remembers.
Because the only time I've ever heard, anything about like the battery sandwich between the board and the digitizer, all that came from you. So
right.
I'm thinking this is one of these things that they talked about internally where you were invited and not just throwing it out there.
Yeah, well, I mean, they haven't done any huge events since then, though. I mean, except for the DNA, but like nothing, just pure HTC.
Yeah,
right?
The DNA was more of a Verizon event, wasn't it?
Yeah, totally.
Well, that's what, the 19th, or was it the 18th, 19th? They're having
19th. I've seen 4 different dates published for this event. Like it's just typos. People keep getting it wrong. It's February 19th.
And that's
in London. So.
That's not London, or that's not AT&T or Verizon or anything. Just HTC.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if we get carriers, 1 or 2.
Well, yeah.
And I tell you, I'm not worried about all these stories that are saying everybody but Verizon's going to get the M7.
No,
well,
because
here's what
Verizon will get their M7.
Right, and it'll be called something different. That's all that means.
And when you have Verizon money, you can make that kind of stuff happen.
Yeah.
That's just the way it goes.
Story. I mean, don't get me started on the Galaxy S4 isn't going to be at MWC. It's a no-show. It's not a no-show. It was never going to be there.
It's not time for it yet.
Yeah. We're hitting that time of year again where I'm shaking my head.
The way I see it is if they bring the S4 to MWC, that means you don't have any chance of getting that beefy new processor in it.
Right.
You don't want to see it at MWC. You want to see it at the beginning of May when they've had...
Is it better or worse OS-wise? So assuming we get a new OS at Google I/O, which... I don't know why we wouldn't, right? Would it be better for the phone to come out sooner or closer to or just after I/O in terms of getting an update sooner? Do you think?
I don't think we should be expecting any phones this year to have whatever we see at Google I/O until next year. I think of it as the Nexus phones are Google's big, huge developer beta test bed. Mm-hmm. They can control how to fix bugs and everything else. And, of course, manufacturers are free to use it if they want. But Samsung, the engineers there are smart. Let's watch how this Jelly Bean 4.2.1 is for a while before we try to integrate it, because there's some showstoppers there. We'll stick with, regular 4.1 that works fine. And I think that's probably the way to go. And if we see a new version of whatever they're going to call it at Google I/O, that's a good time for Samsung to release the S4 with 4.2 whatever X number at the end that's got the bugs fixed.
Did you see more pictures of that Chrome Android robot thing at the Google building? So it looks like it's an Ingress portal. or it changes colors depending on who owns it. And
Ingress is a big push. They all of a sudden... one retailer somewhere now all their stores are.
Oh, it was. I saw. Yeah, Tim Bray wrote something on that. Was it Zipcar? It was one of those.
Yes, Zipcar.
Yeah, which I mean, it was only a matter of time before
right.
This thing starts getting corporate backing, and
yep.
I mean, I thought that was kind of obvious. In fact, there were a couple places that I've submitted as portals that were like restaurants.
Yep. And yeah, it's fun, but we have to know that it's always a money making game. Mm-hmm. Anytime you put that sort of funds into something. So, it wouldn't surprise me, a big push for Ingress coming from all corners. Yeah, I mean, Google has something really unique here that they should push. Get it out of beta, let everybody use it, and sit back and watch. Half the people love it, and the other half of the people complain about it.
I'm stuck. I'm still level 2 because somebody on my side has claimed all the portals here. I mean, we've got like 6s and 7s just all over the place here. So.
Our weather has had me stuck inside the house. My portals are all gone.
And there's another question. When it gets hot as balls here, I'm not going to go out in that.
Yeah. You just have to learn how to cheat. It's the answer to everything. Cheat.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go. I guess.
All right.
That's fun. Maybe you think we're gonna have to do this more often? Like we'll do a podcast after the podcast the next day to catch up on all the stuff we forgot, didn't have time for.
Heck, I'm game.
We'll see. All right. Bye, everybody.
Later on.